Right, welcome to the Paige family Homestead. We're doing a rebel cannon session today. You're going to love it. Not approved by the government. Oh well, they don't always approve of me. It's a meal in a jar, beef stroganoff. Come on in and watch it. You're going to love it.
So you saw me browning up the meat. What kind of meat? Beef. What are we doing? Meal in a jar. And we're doing it with beef for beef stroganoff. We're going to be remodeling our kitchen pretty soon. And it's going to be really hard to put together a nice home-cooked meal. But you know, after eating quick meals, after a few days, you're like, oh, I want something nice and homemade. We're going to have it. So what you need is, I brown it because I'm going to be adding some beef broth to it, along with the flashings that was left in the pan. So, flavor. I put in approximately 2 cups. You can put a healthy 2 cups. I got approximately 2 cups. I had 8 cups of cut beef. I did trim the fat off. I did not trim it off to the excess of removing the marbling, which is what we want. This is a recipe that is very forgiving, and it is rebel because of the wine, I do believe. I do have it browned because I'm adding broth, because if you put it in raw, which is quite fine, you're playing with your levels of broth a little more because they cook in their own juices, right? You can use fresh mushrooms. I try not to. I learned the hard way. When you use fresh mushrooms, there's air in the mushrooms. They kind of float to the top, which who cares? I mean, shake it up, open it up, and dump it in a pan, cook it, and thicken it, and who cares, right? But they do absorb liquid when they're raw. So what I do is I use my frozen mushrooms and what we need there. So we got 2 cups of beef, okay? I wanted more. I'm gonna have to go out and get more. We only have 1 jar left. When we packed, I noticed, 1 jar, not good. So at least now, and this will be for Andy and I with some leftovers for the next day at lunch, honestly. You cook your egg noodles separate. We do not use a thickener in the jars. Rebel or not, I don't use thickeners. They swell and quite often can cause problems. So I don't look for problems. Even though I'm a rebel canner, I kind of think about it, right? This is a dump into a pot, strain, thicken the juice with maybe 2 tablespoons of flour, then put the meat back in, the mix, the solids, your onion, your mushrooms, your beef, and have your egg noodles cooking on the side, and boom, within 5 minutes. It tastes like, yes dear, I've been cooking all day. Seriously, it's that good, or I wouldn't be doing a repeat. So we want 1/2 cup per jar of mushrooms. And some of the liquid that's in here from them thyme, good, bonus. I'll be using it. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's too small. I thought so. It's a 1/4 cup. Yeah, Peggy. Okay, so we got 1/2 cup in each of those 2. Might have just enough. I might have planned this. I kind of did, but I kind of didn't. I'm going to go 1 to 1 right now. Oh, without the funnel. You know you have to clean your rims, right? And this is why sloppy canning. I might be able to do this. Yeah. This meal, I'm telling you, you know, and the sour cream, add that when you're thickening. I don't want added issues. Who needs them? There we go. I'm not missing none of you. Come on in. Okay. Then we need, let's shoot this in a frame. Ready? Curling. I'm Canadian. So we want, ooh, paste. Tomato paste. I believe it was a tablespoon, or was it a teaspoon? A quarter, half, one. I think it's a tablespoon. Here we go. Just use the handle from this. And we'll put it inside each jar. I don't even care if it's precise. You get a little more, you get a little more. It isn't gonna make it taste crappy, right? I did better without the funnel than I did with. Oh, our polite little chickens aren't so polite. They've been bullying the dogs. Poor Suki is just devastated. I think she had visions of breastfeeding them or something, and they turned against her. She's not very happy. So, where did I put these? Now our spices. And none of this is mandatory. Make it for your family. Make what your family likes. You can either put a clove of garlic inside each jar, or you can use garlic powder. You can add onion powder if you have someone in the house that doesn't like onions. Be creative. This is your food, right? Who's gonna look? Who's gonna check? So we want the half a cup of onion. I cut mine not really small. It cooks up really good, guys, and I like to see it. I like to taste it. So we're gonna put that in there. I might even be going around and putting a little extra. It's good. It's so tasty. Oh, you'll notice before I put my meat in, I put like a half a ladle of the broth into the bottom of the jar before I added the meat. And I do that because it makes it easier for debubbling. And you don't get a piece of meat stuck to a jar and you get some air under there. It just makes life easier, right? So now, here's the rubble. We are going to be using, and I believe it's a quarter cup of red wine, dry table red wine. If you don't want to use wine, you can use red wine vinegar. Quite acceptable. I happened to have some cooking wine, so I'll use it. Oh, this is going to be so good. So that's a quarter cup going into every quart jar. These quarts are going to be processed in a pressure canner at 10-pound pressure per my elevation for 90 minutes for a quarts. And if you did it in pints, it would be 75. There's a lot of meat in there, guys. Oh, there's some left. Alrighty, what's next? I think we got spice. Let's put the spices. Okay, so we want a teaspoon of the garlic. I should have just peeled some, but I didn't. See how forgiving this is? You'll never know. I need to get more. Yeah. We're going to Costco soon. Can you see why? Okay, so that's that. Then we're going to put in a teaspoon of parsley flakes. That's going to be a little easier, I think. Yeah. You can use fresh. I would prefer fresh. Not that time of year. Well, it is if you're growing it in a kitchen garden too. It's cold here. Although parsley's hardy, isn't it? It'll stay past the frost. Then I want a teaspoon. I'm going to go with half a teaspoon. It's very aromatic, right? Thyme. And the girls are crying because they want to go outside and baby those mean chickens, and then you don't understand why they're chasing you and picking at you. Yeah, poor babies. Salt to taste. We don't. The reason we don't is we're going to be adding Worcestershire, and that's salty enough. I'm going to put a teaspoon of black pepper, maybe. You're okay, sweetie. I'll go out with you in a little while. Not right now. That wasn't quite a full teaspoon. I changed my mind mid-drift. Probably 3/4. Seems that one's missing something, but it's not. Okay. Almost done the spices. I did the parsley flakes, I did the garlic. Oh, we're done the spices. Okay, so the Worcestershire sauce. But, I said it right too. Liam Perkins. Okay, that's going to be a tablespoon, I believe. Yeah, 1 tablespoon per jar. I'm pretty sure it was more. I have to peek again. When I take notes, I take them all over the place. I didn't want to dirty my handwritten book. You saw it falling apart in one of those other videos. I didn't want to pull that one out. Okay, now I am going to make sure because that's important. Yep, it is. 1 tablespoon. Good guessing. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah. So now we have our broth. It's not cold. It's not hot. I'm doing room temperature, room temperature, room temperature, and going into the can or the water will be started with room temperature. What's that mean? It means longer for it to come up. It's the heat and everything to pressure. That's okay. That's okay. I got busy today. 1-inch headspace, guys. So what I like to do, that would be down here on this line of your jar. What I like to do is bring it like close to that. Because once you debubble, I have my debubbling tools somewhere else. Don't can without it. Okay, so I'm just gonna get down there. You want to really debubble well because we got layers of different textures, right? And air could slip in between so easily. And then with the herbs and the tomato paste will cook down in there. It'll all distribute. But let's give it a really good debubbling, you know? It smells so good already. It really does. Okay, so now I'm going to top it up to the 1-inch headspace. Hey, baby.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing out there?
I'm doing good.
He's working on a project. Hey, Dee Dee, don't bury your treat in the recycling bag. Thank you. I just dipped this tea towel into my vinegar and I'm cleaning the rim, especially with meats, right? You could get fats on there, and I've been touching it. My finger oils, nothing's gonna get it. Now, when pressure canning with these new lids, You do not need to, I wash and sterilize. You don't need to, but I already did. You don't need to just wash really well, rinse really well, and you can use them, but old habits. So I got a 1-inch headspace, maybe a tiny little smidgen more. I think I do. Yeah. Take the time, guys. You see it? Take the time to fix it, because it could mean that your stuff's going to come out of your jars of sifting, right? You don't want that. Look at that. I got 3 tablespoons. It makes a difference. It really does make a difference. And just in case. There we go. Finger tight. I'll do one more. I can't tell you enough how incredible. These are for a meal in a jar, right? I'm going to set this up with a playlist ran by Morris Patch of Heaven and Morris Patch of Heaven Homestead. Amazing people. And she hosts for everybody a hashtag Let's Can playlist. You wouldn't believe the recipes in there. You got to go check it out. I'm going to leave a URL in the description of the video down underneath the video, and you can check it out. It's incredible. And canners love to share their recipes with each other. So it's not just new people going to look. Other canners are going and getting ideas, and it's all about sharing and learning together. And that's what this playlist represents. So we gladly support it when we can. Sometimes I forget because I'm old. I don't know why I forget. I just do, and then when I'm editing, I'm like, oh. You ever have that happen? Tell me I'm not alone. But do go check her out. I'll leave an iCard as well for those of you that can see the iCards. But for those of you that can't, I will put it in the description of the video. It's so worth going to see, guys. I just realized I did that jar with that one in front. I'm going to take up more time. Sorry. And that. Oh, my canner takes 7 quarts. I don't have 7 quarts. I don't want them dancing and banging into each other. So I'm going to do 3 pints of water with old lids, right? Don't use your good lids, my goodness. That water, we have well water. That water will now be sterile, sorry. It will now be sterile water. I just spilled on this. Here we go. I don't have to clean the outside, but I do anyway after, right? I always do. So if I see a real bad mess, I'm going to clean it. And this one looks good now. Andy has been working so hard outside. And he's got another project on the go. I think he'll tell you about that one. There we go. I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to get the water in the jars so that they're all, so that the canner is loaded. I'm going to bring you right back. Okay, lost my voice. We've got 4 quarts of beef stroganoff. I had enough for a pint to fill with a little bit of onion for flavoring the rest of that beef broth, so I'll can that up. It doesn't need to go in for 90 minutes, but it's not going to kill it. And the other 2 pints are to keep the jars from destroying each other, and also enables me to have sterile water. I'm down a few jars after that tick episode with the dog. I mean, we used it for her first aid. So, it doesn't hurt to have it. So now we wait. I'm waiting for a steady stream of steam. And we will allow that to happen for 10 full minutes, not 9, 10. We want to push the air out of the canner so that the environment can reach the heat that's needed to make sure there's no bad ickies in our meat or food. Don't skip this step. It's seriously the most important. Well, they all are, but yeah, vent it for 10 minutes. Okay, so the buzzer just went off. It's been going for 10 minutes. And now, oh, my, it didn't hurt, it scared me. My 10-pound weight. And I leave it now until it goes, and at that time, it'll be 10 pounds pressure. And we're going to time it for 90 minutes. Timer went off. It's been going for 90 minutes. That's all I'm going to do, guys. We're going to let it come down to 0 pressure and leave it a while. And there we have it, our 2 sterilized waters, my little pint of onion and beef broth that we had left over. I can use that in a super stew. And now look at these jars, they're just magnificent. I wonder if I can hold one up in video. The light sucks, but look at that. Oh, I don't know if I'm getting it. It's just beautiful. Still bubbling away. So I'm going to leave them here till tomorrow, at which time I will remove, I'm just tightening the rings, finger tight. They get loose in the pressure canner. Leave that till tomorrow. Each jar is like 2.5 meals. We both get a meal out of it, and then what's left over goes into a soup the next day. It's just amazing. I hope you guys give this a try. There we go. I hope you guys give this a try. It is such an amazing meal. When I open one up, I'll do a quick little video to show you what it's like. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have and you're here again, thank you. And we'll see you. Oh, don't forget to ring that bell and leave a comment below. We'll see you on Monday.